don't start streaming. I should be on right now. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm in. Hold on before I start the speech. Before I start the unnecessary speech. First of thermal. Yesterday was 19 and I didn't fix it. What the fuck? Yeah. Yesterday was 19. I didn't fix it because I was getting lazy. Just like I said, I don't know why, but I started getting lazy crazy. Today is the 20th day, 20th. But I kept it as an 18 yesterday because, oh my god, my shit is on. Fall Guys. Let's chat it. My bitch so bad she can't even. My bitch so bad she can't even. Alright. Yeah. Another stream, another me, back again. How is it going? It's not going good because I'm getting lazy. Like, I'm getting crazy lazy. Hold the fuck on. Hold the fuck on. Alright, everything sounds great. Everything sounds great. So, how is it going? What's the plan for today? Today I got plan today. Today I will be watching Invincible YouTube videos because I finished Invincible just yet. It just new. So I'm trying to watch a couple of YouTube videos about Invincible because I want so. Yeah, that's it. And I got a job tomorrow, so I gotta keep it straight, simple. And I was sleeping. I woke up just to stream. Middle in my nap. Because I noticed that I did it. And I don't want to be a like quitter. My bitch so bad she can't even get online. My bitch so bad she can't even post online.
Is here on the ground, working to distribute baby milk to newborn babies.
You open your
You say you laugh at me. Alright, so basically there's people who read the comics as well. I didn't read the comics, so I'm not gonna be able to give a good talk about it. I only watched the show, so I will be talk about as much as I can, and I can react to it. Other than that, I'm just like sitting with you guys.
eyes for the very first time, and here we are. You've just been born a full-blooded Viltrumite on the planet Viltrum. Congratulations! Several tall figures dressed in battle armor check your vital signs in the monitors as they decide your fate. Yep. He's strong, says the doctor. Or maybe he's just a regular guy with a stethoscope. Who knows?
Who wanted to be born as a Viltrumite? Me personally, I think born in, their planet sounds a little bit bad. I don't know, because you might die if you're not strong enough.
You're a baby. It's hard for you to tell. Your parents, who are also still in their uniforms, breathe a sigh of relief. You see, the Viltrumites have a strong policy about childbirth, which means that only the strong children are allowed to survive. The rest are, well, don't worry about the
That's what I'm talking about.
rest. This means that you get to go home to your parents, but Viltrumite babies don't really get to watch Cocomelon with their stuffed animals. Instead, they place you in a gravity chamber 4 times the strength of Earth, where every muscle in your tiny body is forced to adapt to intense pressure. Your cries echo off steel walls as you try to lift your head, but no one comes to comfort you. On Viltrum, weakness will never be rewarded, even as a baby. Now that you've made it to 2 years old, you're already showing signs of
Wait, are we sure these people have feelings? Because Nolan did.
power within you. The average fully grown Viltrumite can lift at least 400 tons, but as a toddler, you're not quite there yet. Your quote-unquote toys are really just heavy-weighted blocks, and you're doing pretty well with them. You've also started showing signs of levitation already, which means your fight training begins immediately. Your parents watch your progress like hawks and carefully measure each metric to make sure you don't fall behind. They don't help you up if you stumble. Instead, they watch from a distance with their arms crossed as you struggle to get back onto your feet. A true Viltrumite stands
Yeah, I can imagine those type of shit.
on their own, always. Thanks, Dad. Everyone in this species are raised as warriors from birth, so Viltrumites have no comprehension of what genuine parental love is like. Now at 5 years old, you seem to be holding up well so far, so it's time for you to be thrown into the Juvenile Combat Initiative. It's full of other kids your age, but this isn't a playground. It's a battlefield for children. Basically, just a toddler Toddler Fight Club. On your first day, you're matched against a boy named Laro, who's a little older than you and twice your size. There's only one way to win these matches. Incapacitate your opponent. Good luck out there, kid. As the match begins, Laro charges at you and knocks you off your feet. Those extra years of conditioning have given him an advantage in strength, but around these parts, there's no excuse. Get up.
Oh, what the fuck?
One of your instructors growls. You pull yourself up again and drive your tiny fist into Laro's jaw. When he stumbles backwards, you take the opportunity to knock him to the ground. The crowd of children and parents erupts into applause. At 5 years
Wait,
old...
is this a true story or something? Wait, let me check the comments real quick. First rule, toddler, don't talk about the Fight Club. This is a true story. This is the only issue with this is that Viltrum would never send an army for the planet. They are sending 3 at most.
You've earned their respect. For now, the Viltrumites believe that they're the most superior being in the universe, destined to
Aren't they?
rule over everyone else. So every part of this society exists to breed the perfect soldiers to feed this galactic takeover. Your first day of school on Viltrum is pretty straightforward. Every subject ties back to the Empire's ideals. History class only exists to glorify past conquests. Science focuses on weapon development, and even mathematics is taught through the perspective of warfare logistics. Your PE class is really just combat training with a side of cardio, and every failure is punished. You better be perfect, kid, or you're not going to make it much longer. School still has some memories that will stick with you forever though. In history class, you're now old enough to learn about the events of the Purging, when Viltrumites culled the weak from their population to ensure only the strongest survived. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, before they set off to conquer the stars, Viltrum was rocked by a horrific civil war. This war began when Viltrumites that valued strength and believed in their natural superiority got together and decided to kill all the weak members of the species. Anyone who opposed them or were deemed unfit were executed in a global bloodbath called the Purging. Years later, the planet lay in ruins and half the population had died, but at least
Wait, how long is gonna take us to see all of those? The history of Viltrumite, the real history. Because I've been seeing this guy right here. I think his name was Thrag. Yes, I've been seeing this guy. I don't know who he is because it didn't show us in the show. I'm not trying to get spoiled, but I think it's gonna take us. In the 4th season, people be saying he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. He's gonna come.
being eliminated. From that point on, Viltrumites adopted a brutal doctrine of eugenics, meaning only the strong were allowed to survive on Viltrum. Viltrum was rebuilt by its superhuman population. A planet targeted for assimilation would be offered a chance to willingly join the Empire in patronage. Those that refused were destroyed by an army of flying supermen. It's a tough lesson to swallow as a kid, but it's important to your survival that you understand. You may no longer be a baby, but it's never too late to abort you. Now at 10 years old, your training escalates. You're sent on your first observation mission to a freshly conquered planet. As you fly down, the air is thick with the scent of burning rubble, and the skies are black with smoke. Villages burn and cities lie in ruins. You follow your squad leader, a towering figure named General Korath, as he surveys the aftermath of the conquest. He sets your squad down by the captured rebels kneeling in chains, with their heads bowing in defeat. Korath points at the prisoners. Decide their fate, he says with a voice devoid of any emotion. Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa, what? Why does this have to be on you? Your heart pounds as you look at their terrified faces, but you know all too well that hesitation is dangerous and a form of weakness. With trembling hands, you point to the execution squad. Korath nods, and the prisoners are no more.
Bro,
That
Invincible
night,
may be
for
the
first
best
time and the last
comic
time in your
book
life,
I have
you
ever
lie
seen
awake,
in my
haunted by the
life.
memory. Don't get used to it though, because we don't do guilt here. At 15, you're given your first solo mission, leading a squad to raid a rebel outpost. It's a relatively small operation, but it's a test of your leadership capabilities. And you better be able to pull this off, because you remember what happens to failures. It's on a nearby planet, and
Abi adımı oku. İlayda hoş geldin. Ne yapıyorsun ya? Adımı oku diyor bir de ya. Ben de okudum ananı sikim. Mal mıyım ben?
you get there the same way anyone else on Viltrum gets across the galaxy. You don't need rockets or teleporters. Viltrumites can fly through space and hold their breath for several weeks. They also move
Several weeks.
at incredible speeds, so hopping in a spacecraft would just be inefficient. Your team descends on the outpost, but things go wrong almost immediately. The rebels are better armed than expected, and the simple skirmish devolves
Görmemişim, oyun oynuyordum. Ne oynuyordun?
in the chaos. You manage to turn things around and complete the mission by destroying their outpost, but not without a cost. Several of your squad mates are killed, with their bodies left behind as you retreat. When you return to
So basically, Viltrumite doesn't even care about their dead. They just leave.
Viltrum, the loss of life is glossed over. A victory is a victory, your instructor says, patting you on the back. What a wholesome...
LoL mu oynuyordun? Allah yardımcın olsun. Allah kurtarsın. Ne zamandan beri içeridesin?
life lesson. At 16, the accumulation
Benim hesabım permaban yediğinden beri o oyunun yüzüne bakmıyorum.
of everything you've ever trained for arrives. The Viltrumite Trials. Without exaggeration, it's the biggest event of your life. These aren't ceremonial rites or symbolic tests. They're brutal challenges designed to weed anyone out who doesn't embody the Empire's ideals, and anyone who is deemed weak. Failing here doesn't just mean humiliation. It means death. This is your life.
Öylesine oynuyorum, ben bağımlısı değilim. Zamanında ben de öyle bir cümle kurmuştum. En son baktıklarında haftalarca odamdan çıkmamıştım, oyun oynuyorum, LoL oynuyordum.
Last chance to
Neyse ki kurtuldum vallahi, Allah şükürler olsun.
prove you deserve to survive.
İyi oynadıkça daha bağımlı olmaya başlıyorsun. İyi oynadıkça da takımını sövmeye başlıyorsun. Takımını sövdükçe de beynin, yani nasıl diyeyim, beynin ne amına koyayım, mentaliten düşüyor artık.
Trials begin on a distant moon, with gravity 3 times the strength of Viltrum's. You and 30 other candidates are dropped there with nothing but the clothes on your backs. The goal is simple: survive for a week while completing a series of grueling challenges. But just surviving isn't enough. You have to dominate. The first task is a race across the moon's rocky surface. The terrain is jagged and unstable, and every step sends sharp, painful vibrations through your legs. You feel the gravity's pull with every movement, and after just a few minutes, your muscles scream for relief. But there is no relief. Falling behind isn't an option. Those who do are left for dead, their bodies claimed by the unforgiving landscape. As you cross a ridge, you see the next challenge.
What the fuck? Whoa, I gotta search it up. Viltrumites have feelings. They are capable of experiencing emotions different from human emotions. Why they're like this then? What the fuck? Chat'te hiç duymadığım küfürler duydum. Ne diyorsun sen? Abi gerçek LoL chat'i var ya, normal bir yer değil. Hatta zamanında şey düşünüyorlardı. LoL'e sesli chat getirmeyi düşünüyorlardı. Ananı sikeyim. Ama vazgeçtiler sonra. Onlar dedi ki yok. O bilgisayar falan karar olmuş çocuklara. Ki doğru.
A combat arena carved into the ground.
Boost your mobile game's revenue with rewarded ads. Unlike regular ads, rewarded ads are a part of the game. They're not.
The instructors announced that the top 20 finishers will advance to the
Ne zamandan beri oynuyorsun? Ne zaman başladın?
next round. You make it in time, but barely. You turn to face your first opponent, Laro, who's admittedly a lot bigger than he was back in the toddler fight
What?
club. He's taller, broader, and has a reputation of cruelty. You dodge his first swing and counter with a blow to the temple, dropping him immediately. The fight is over in seconds. The instructors nod approvingly, but their expressions remain cold. There's no praise here, just acknowledgement that you've done what's expected. But a third day, only 12 candidates
They're not even praising each other. Ocak'ta aldım PC'yi 2 ay. Vay amına koyayım, 2 ay. Ben 2 ay oynarken LoL nasıldı? 2. ayımda falan. Hatırlamıyorum 2. ayımı falan ama ben arkadaşlarımla oynadığım zaman ilk başlarda ben de zaten taşlarına oynuyordum. Eğlencesine falan oynuyordum. Böyle sikerim. Koy göte oç koy göte göç oynuyor. Koy göte geç oynuyordum. Sonrasında abi hafif kilo almaya falan başladım. Sonra çok iyi oynadığım oyunları kaybetmeye başladım. Dedim ananı sikim ne oluyor, oynuyorum. Bir bakıyorum bizim takıma orospu çocukları amına koyayım götten veriyormuş. Meğer koy göte geç dediğimde onlar da vur götten geç yapıyorlarmış. Sonra gitgide oyuna daha bağımlı kalmaya başladım iyi oynadığım için. Ama takım da kötü oynuyor. Sonra daha da iyi oynamaya başladığımda fark ettim ki iyi oynamıyormuşum. Zaten sonra chatte paso küfür. Sonra perma bana çaktılar. Siktir git oyunumuzdan, orospu çocuklar bir daha da gelme dediler. Ben de gelenin amına koyayım dedim, çıktım.
The trials shift focus to teamwork. An ironic twist, given the Viltrumites' emphasis on individual strength. You're paired with two others.
Stres atmak için girdiğim oyundan daha stresli çıkıyordum amına koyayım.
Corvin, a quiet but fiercely skilled fighter, and Vetra, an impulsive recruit with a talent for improvisation. Your task is to infiltrate a simulated rebel stronghold and eliminate its defenders. The simulation is anything but simple. The quote-unquote defenders are seasoned Viltrumite soldiers tasked with stopping you at any cost. As you approach the stronghold, Vetra rushes ahead, ignoring your orders. She's caught in an ambush and Corvin pulls her back just in time. The three of you regroup and devise a new strategy. You take the lead, coordinate an assault that outmaneuvers your defenders. It's messy and chaotic, but it works. By the end of the exercise, you've secured the stronghold and eliminated the targets. Back at the trial grounds, the
Viltrumites have really, really crazy power. Like the way they're fighting, everything else. Oraya stres atma amaçlı giren yok, emin ol. Valla bazen ama yani ben mesela YouTube'un hesabından falan oynuyorum bazen. Çünkü özlüyorum, yani oyunu özlüyorum. Eskiden ne yapıyordum? Oyuna ne zaman başladım? Ben 8. sınıftayken başladım. O yüzden arkadan ben şarkıyı açıyorum abi. Böyle hafif bir tane şarkı. Oyunu oynuyorum. Hiç yani kendimle bile konuşmuyorum. Sadece oyuna odaklanıyorum. Çok güzel oluyor.
The instructors debrief your group. They commend your leadership, but criticize Vetra's impulsiveness. A team is only as
Stratejik bir oyun olduğu için zaten beyninin kendine konuşmaya vakti olmuyor. Paso düşünüyorum oyunu.
strong as its weakest link, one of them says, fixing her with a steely gaze. Vetra's jaw tightens, but she doesn't respond. The lesson is clear. Even teamwork on Viltrum is a tool, not a virtue. The last test is the most brutal of all. A free-for-all, where only the strongest will emerge victorious. The instructors release you into a sprawling battlefield, a maze of cliffs, caves, and treacherous terrain. There is one objective. Be the last one standing. The first
All 27 invincible verse. Oh, explained. Oh, I
In the
want that.
Invincible comic,
I want that. Doğru. Ananı sikeyim ya. Man, I gotta hit the gym back. I gotta start again. Weak. Started to really get
there are
weak,
over
man.
20 different versions of Mark Grayson from across the multiverse, and today we're explaining each one and giving them a rating out of 5. These ratings will be based on costume design, strength, personality.
5, 3, 5, 2. I don't know the rest, to be honest. If I'm gonna be honest. Face Mick. Ne olmuş Mick'e? Ne oldu? Ha? Ha?
And most importantly,
Şeyin sesi benden daha çok geliyor amına koyayım.
aura. Okay, so in no particular order, the first person on this list is Viltrum Invincible, who's one
I've killed you before and I will do it again. Viltrum
of
Invincible.
the few marks that wears the classic Viltrumite uniform. In chapter 104,
Ses. Ses nasıldı? Az mı, düşük mü, kötü mü, ne oldu?
it was revealed that in certain timelines, Omni-Man never allowed Mark to grow up on Earth, and instead raised him to take over the planet from day one.
Oh.
Mark was clearly one of those people, and this is reflected in his above-average strength compared to most other Invincibles. For example, back in his own timeline, he killed Spawn, who's a character with infinitely more potential than the people Mark usually gets beaten up by. At some point after taking over the Earth, Viltrumark was approached by Angstrom Levy, who, as we all know, is a villain from the main dimension. Having been pummeled half to death by the main Invincible, Angstrom wanted to get revenge by hiring variants of Mark from across.
Wait, no, this guy is not from the main dimension though. Fuck, no, he was from another dimension. The one who's from the main dimension, he got exploded. Am I right or wrong? Mikrofonum kapalı, bende mi sorun var? Ben konuşuyorum şu an. Ben ne yapıyorum lan? Alo? Hello? Ben ne yapıyorum lan? Evet. Ben malım ha. Neden sessiz sinema oynadım ki?
Multiverse to attack the main timeline. The aim of this plan was to basically ruin Invincible's reputation.
Sen ama LoL'ü birileriyle oyna. Yiğit'le falan oyna LoL'ü. Öyle daha çok tadı çıkar.
By having people that look exactly like him tearing apart the world. Viltrum Invincible was one of those recruits, and in exchange for their services, Angstrom promised to expand each of their empires into countless other dimensions.
This is you, the first day as a teacher.
This is you in your first day of teacher as a fuck. I feel like I'm Gucci Mane in 2006.
Were then sent to the main timeline in a battle known as the Invincible War. On the first day of this war, Viltrum faced off against Spawn again, and we can assume he won this fight because by day 3 he was very much still alive and was seen hovering above the remains of Chicago. By this point, the alternate Invincibles had destroyed most major cities, including London, Tokyo, and New York, and in the process, they wiped out millions of people. That said,
Yeah, I watch those places. Bazen odaya MC oynuyoruz. Genelde sıkılınca. Minecraft. Minecraft kadar güzel bir oyun yok ya. Ben hatta geçen gün arkadaşlarıma oynayalım arkadaşlar dedim. Yani tekrar başlayalım mı? Yok dediler.
during the war, a bunch of alternate marks were killed by heroes from the main timeline, meaning the 8 who survived were likely the strongest of the bunch. On day 3, Angstrom arrived on Earth pretty happy with the way things had gone, and by this stage, all he wanted was to find Mark from the main timeline. Angstrom's plan was to disfigure him so that Mark would know the same pain that he felt, but this is where things began to go wrong. After so many variants had been killed, certain marks didn't want to keep working for Angstrom, and as a result, he sent all of them to the Wasteland Dimension. This dimension is where the main
Spoiler warning. Fuck. Should I Omnimark? I think I'm gonna go for Omnimark real quick. Bazen odaya. Neden? Çünkü YKS'ye çalışıyorlar. Gelmek istemediler.
for an unknown reason. My personal theory is back in his own universe, he murdered Nolan for an unknown reason. My personal theory is that in his own universe,
Oh, he killed Nolan. Okay.
murdered Nolan for an unknown reason. My personal theory is that because these variant marks have empires back home, it's likely that killing Nolan would benefit him politically and allow him to take his dad's place. Let me know if you guys have any other theories down below, but regardless of the reason, the fact is, Omnimark did defeat his dad, which is why it's so confusing that he was then killed by regular heroes from the main timeline. To be specific, he was strangled to death with a yo-yo, and the guy controlling this yo-yo was a hero called Madman.
Are you joking?
Madman, also known as Frank Einstein, is the main character of his own comic series.
Oh.
He does have super strength. I'm honestly not even sure if he could beat most of the Guardians of the Globe. For Madman to kill Invincible, it means that this variant must be one of the weakest, and yeah, you can maybe say that the heroes wore him down together and he was just tired, but I don't care. Even a baby Viltrumite shouldn't be losing to a yo-yo. For this reason,
Then how the fuck he killed his father? Fuck, it doesn't make sense. Maybe he killed it somehow with a tricky way. Bu arada YKS çalışıyorum kafasında kimse bir şey yapmıyor. Harbi amına koyayım kimse bir sikim yapmıyor amına koyayım. Her tuvalete gideceğim deyince yok kanka ben gidemem. YKS çalışıyorum. Yarram ne alaka amına koyayım ya. Bir süre sonra gına geldi zaten. 2 senedir aynı muhabbet ya.
Omnimark gets a 1 out of 5 rating and the title of Weakest Invincible. Up next, we have arguably the strongest Invincible, at least for this age.
Sinister.
known as Sinister Mark. Full transparency, to me this variant has the #1 costume in the series. I mean, the black and yellow color scheme with the cape, everything just works perfectly.
Now he looks tough.
But even if his costume wasn't this good, Sinister Mark is still interesting for other reasons. To start with, in his reality, Invincible has a personal grudge against Angstrom Levy, and personally hunts him down, taunts him, and then squishes his son right in front of him. Sometime after that, he was then recruited for the Invincible War, and faces off
This guy.
against a hero called Duncan Rosenblatt, otherwise known as Fire Breather. What's interesting here is that despite Duncan being a hero, Sinister Mark mentions how in his universe, Fire Breather is a villain and one of the toughest monsters he's ever faced. In the main timeline, there's apparently nothing special, and we can assume he lost because 2 days later, Sinister Mark was seen relaxing over one of the many destroyed cities.
God damn. Benim derslerim sikerim. Benim de What the benim derslerin geneli ortalamanın üzerinde, fazla abartmıyorum YKS'yi. Bir tek istediğim bu YKS muhabbetinin 3. yıla uzamaması. Çünkü 3. yıla uzarsa artık siktirin gidin diyeceğim.
Personality, he normally speaks like he's superior to everyone else, and was the de facto leader out of all the alternate marks. An example of this is how when Angstrom ordered them to find Mark from the main timeline,
How about we don't? Your stupid plan, we weeded us down to 8. You said if we did this for you. In return, you would help us expand our empires into countless dimensions. This place is in shambles. I say we move on now, or I will kill you. Fuck.
The only one to speak up and argue that they'd already done enough. On top of that, when the variants were starving in the Wasteland dimension, he was the one who started the cannibalism, even convincing the other marks to join him. Now, there are a couple reasons why earlier I said he was the strongest.
Oh god, you arrived just in time for dinner.
And the first is that he single-handedly killed Viltrum Invincible. We know
Fucking hell.
for a fact that he did this by himself, because at this point in time, he and Mohawk Mark were the only ones left, and Mohawk had stopped working with him. Secondly, it's clear that even Mohawk thought that Sinister Mark was the strongest, since he didn't try to fight him one-on-one, and chose to fly away rather than facing him alone. He
You are.
also wasn't even sure if they could beat him in a 2v1, but luckily when the main Mark did show up, they were able to win. As he dealt the finishing blow, Mohawk described Sinister Mark as
You turned us against each other. What you made me
the
do.
worst variant, but in this video he's the best because he gets a 5 out of 5.
God dang.
personality.
Best villain ever. Yazın sonuna kadar herkes toparlar. Yayın daha akar. Yayın sonuna kadar. Oo. Ne zamandı? Haziran. Evet doğru. Ben de zaten o sıralar Türkiye'ye gelmeyi düşünüyorum. Arkadaşlarla tatil yapmayı düşünüyorum. İnşallah. Nereye gideceğim belli değil de. İnşallah giderim. O daha o belli değil. Sadece plan.
Strength and an overall bonus star for his sinister presence. Moving on to the guy that beat him to death, Mohawk Mark is the variant who we know the most about. For context, by the time he escaped the Barren Dimension, Angstrom Levy had sort of turned into a good guy, like he'd realized the error of his ways, and he kindly opened a portal for Mohawk to go back home. However, he was understandably still pissed off about being stranded for months, and so he forces Angstrom through the portal as well. This allowed us to get a solid look into his timeline and also his weird personality. As an example, we find out that when Mohawk Mark was enlisted by his dad to take over the world, he actually thought Teen Team would help them do it. When Rex refused to help,
What?
Invincible killed everyone, including Atom Eve, although Robot did survive since his real body was hidden away. Following Eve's death,
Lost someone close to us. I'm sure you know who. It's hard to fill the void.
Mohawk said that it left a void that was hard to fill, and so nowadays he tries to fill it by surrounding
That's not what it is at all. I recognize one of them. Leave us conquest.
himself with women who have the exact same look. Something else you might have noticed is that he sits on a golden throne, and this is because, like the other alternate marks, Mohawk is the leader of the Viltrum Empire. In his reality, we see that Conquest, General Krieg, and other high-ranking Viltrumites all bow down to him, with the only exception being Thrag. If you want to avoid spoilers, then just
How am I supposed to watch this shit, man? Skip to 8:31. Fuck you. Fuck you. Ankara'ya mı? Başta Ankara. Ankara'da birkaç günden sonra tatile. Baturay'ın Mersin'de bir evi var, ya oraya ya da Fethiye'ye ya da Antalya'ya bakacağız. O üç yerden biri. Pardon, o iki yerden biri.
were both killed
Ya,
in
pardon,
the
üç.
Civil War. The first one is Sleeveless Mark, who was seen in space fighting against a hero called Tech Jacket. For context, Tech Jacket is the main character of his own comic. And
What?
to explain how powerful he is, we need to know a little bit about the Geldarians.
Okay.
Geldarians are an alien race who've actually appeared in Invincible before.
How many comic books are there in together in the same
And their
universe?
technology is some of the most advanced in the universe. However, over the years, this led to the Geldarians becoming physically weak because for generations they just used technology to do everything for them. That's why they
Oh.
make suits called Tech Jackets, which is given to every Geldarian at birth, and it increases their strength 100 times over. Now, after one of their ships crash landed on Earth, a Geldarian soldier called Kelda passed his jacket to Zach Thompson. Because humans are way stronger than Geldarians, it meant that Zach's potential in this suit was infinitely stronger than anything they'd seen before. While fighting against Invincible, Tech Jacket initially overpowered him with lasers, broke one of his goggles with a solid punch, and was just overall giving him a hard time. That being said, the Viltrumite was then joined by another Invincible with short hair, and in a 2v1, Zach had almost no chance. Both of these variants mentioned how Tech Jacket isn't a hero in their dimension, although Shorthead Mark claimed to have killed a bunch of Geldarians, which may have altered the timeline in a way that meant that Zack never got the jacket. In the battle that followed, Zack realized he wasn't strong enough to win, and so he sacrificed himself by blowing up his suit. In particular, he transferred all of the tech jacket's power into the battery, causing it to overload. This explosion turned both of the Invincibles to dust.
Mersin'e gitme çok aşırı fazla sıcak. Ama beleş ev var. Yani beleş ev var. O yüzden gitme ihtimalimiz var. Ve deniz var. Deniz, beleş ev. Bu ülke çok soğuk. O yüzden emin ol şu an sıcağı o kadar isterim ki. Üstüne sıcak beni çok etkilemiyor. Yani etkiliyor tabii ki. Ama şeyi fark ettim. Türkiye'deki arkadaşlarım falan o ananı sikeyim çok sıcak falan derken benim üstümde kapşon vardı yani. Anladın mı?
Zack himself barely survived what happened, but eventually he did make a full recovery.
Neresinde Mersin'in? Hiçbir fikrim yok. Vallahi hiçbir fikrim yok. Ama güzel bir yer falan diyordu. Ya bakacağız da emin değilim ama güzel olduğu sürece beni umurumda olmaz.
Invincibles, they get a combined 2 out of 5 stars, with the most interesting thing about them being how Shorthead Mark kept speaking like a classic cartoon villain. Next up, we have Parallel Mark, who helped his dad to take over the Earth in the comics and also in Season 2.
Hey Eve, you look good. Oh, what the fuck is this?
Unlike many of his evil counterparts, this version wasn't willing to kill Atom Eve, but that didn't stop him from paralyzing her. This version of Eve was one of the leaders of a resistance group, and she was the one person who he actively tried not to kill. This shows that although Parallel Mark had abandoned 99.9% of his humanity, he wasn't able to go to 100% and finish the job. In fact, he'd even arranged things so that there were people waiting to take care of Eve, because he was still planning on visiting her from time to time. Evil Invincibles, I feel like this one was meant to show us exactly how the main Mark would act if Omni-Man had successfully turned him in the first season.
Oh.
Robot Mark, who's a perfect clone of Invincible with Rudy's brain inside. To explain how this happened, we have to flash back to Mohawk Mark's dimension, where, like I said earlier, the main Invincible was stranded. With no way of getting home, the main Mark had to think of a plan, and so the first thing he did was rip out his hair and pretend to be Mohawk Mark. As the Emperor, he could basically do anything he
Emperor, could I please have a word?
wanted, and obviously his main priority
Why they're obeying Mohawk?
was to create a portal back home. To accomplish this, he went to find the Rudy of this timeline, and in the end they were able to make a deal. As you can imagine, Rudy was sick and tired of the Viltrum Empire, and at first he wanted Mark to stay in this dimension and force the rest of the Viltrumites to leave. From Invincible's perspective, that just would have taken way too long, and so he hired one of the Mauler twins to build a perfect clone. The idea was that Rudy's consciousness would be transferred to this clone so that he could fix the Viltrum Empire himself while Mark goes back to their main timeline. Of course, this had to be done in secret so the Viltrumites didn't know, and so they worked from a hidden location for months. During this time, the Empire had no clue where Mark was, and he specifically told them not to look for him. However, a few weeks after he said this, Conquest, Anissa, and General Krieg all showed up anyway, believing that their Emperor was a hostage. To save Mark, the Viltrumites unleashed Monster Girl, who in this reality was now a baby from using her powers too much. Interestingly, it seems like the younger she gets, the stronger her powers become, hence why in this timeline she was 1,000 times bigger than what we've seen before. In the chaos, she destroyed Rudy's secret base, but luckily the transfer was completed at the last second. After this incident, Robot Mark took charge of the Viltrumites with the intention of completely reforming the Empire. Sadly, once the original Mark escaped from this timeline, we don't actually hear or see anything more about it, but just my guess, knowing Robot, he'd probably use the Viltrumites to protect Earth until the Thrag situation is dealt with.
Okay.
And his people are no longer a threat, then yeah, it's probable he'll find a way to eradicate the Viltrumites.
I think I'm gonna start reading, the comics because
Whether
we might not get all of those information and stuff for like a couple of years, and I don't got that patience to wait. What the fuck?
that's through a disease or some other idea he can come up with, but yeah, I don't think long-term Viltrumites are going to survive. The 9th Invincible on the show is one who has a mask but without any lenses, and technically he's the one variant from the war who might still be alive. On day 2 of the battle, he single-handedly beat the Guardians of the World, decapitating the Immortal in the process. For me, he's probably the strongest Mark that didn't make it to day 2, but like I said, there's a small chance he's still alive. The reason I say that is because instead of killing him, Darkwing forced him into the Shadowverse, which is this pocket dimension that we saw in Season 2. Invincible without lenses seemingly got trapped here forever, but it's been proven in the comic that you can survive here for a number of years. My guess is that you can probably get by killing and eating the creatures that live in this dimension, since there is pretty much nothing else you can do. Having said that, even if Invincible survived, there's only one way for him to escape, and that's if someone with access to this dimension gives him a way out. By the end of the comics, there were only 3 confirmed characters who might have this potential, and as heroes, they never give him the chance to escape, at least not on purpose. Invincible number 10 is Spider-Mark, who battled against Oliver during the Invincible War. Thanks to this variant, we know that most evil versions of Mark killed their mothers, which makes sense considering there's no chance Debbie would accept her husband and son conquering the Earth. Spider-Mark also implied that he murdered Nolan, or at the very least he tried to, which ties into my earlier theory that Omni-Man had to die in order for the Invincibles to gain their own empire. That said, Spider-Mark still clearly respects his dad, because when he was fighting against Kid Omni-Man,
You suck. I don't care how strong you are. I'm taking you out. Keep talking yourself. Keep telling yourself that, boy. Boy, I don't know why I said it like that. You will eventually believe in it. You're going to have to earn that symbol in your chest. He's talking about the Omni-Man thing. Oyun gireceksin mi? Hiçbir fikrim yok. Büyük ihtimalle evet. Bu video bittikten sonra Fall Guys girebilirim. Sende var mı Fall Guys? Büyük ihtimalle girerim Fall Guys, bilmiyorum.
he told Oliver that he had to earn the symbol on his chest. Overall, his costume is one that I do genuinely like, but only for a side character. If the main Mark had this all the time, I probably wouldn't be a big fan.
Fuck that. Matter of fact, I'm done with this video. You know what time it is? It's time to get some wins in Fall Guys. Shawty said she need me and I never needed her. Never in a thing and it don't make sense to me. Oh my god, I can't. Can I? I think I can. Every needs back a day, many, not any money, and me. Var. Sen ciddi misin? Sende Fall Guys varsa gel beraber girelim. Stop for Fall Guys. You know what time it is. Time to get win. SoundCloud. Shawty said she need me, and I never needed her. Not for Yanata. Yes, sir. Wait, how my hair looks? She looks tough. Shawty said she need me, and I never needed her. Nothing on the thorn on the door, not structurally. All I ever need, fucking day, minute. Yes, Sirski. Alright. Oh, it's working. Cool. Sugar. What is going on? Wow, I was in Discord the whole time. Is this kid dumb? Heard you. Failed to log in. We had trouble connecting you to our services. Please review your network connection or later. What? What? Huh? If it says that shit again. Niye atıyor? Seni de mi atıyor? Sadece benim atıyor. What? Customize your bead, play levels, unlock items. Beni de attı. Siktir ya. Oyunda boklar dönüyor yine. Yap. Oyunun serverlarında bok dönüyor. Alright. Benden bu kadar o zaman. I'm end the stream. After these 30 days streams, I'm gonna take 2 days off. After that, I'm gonna come back with the real shit. When I say real shit, I mean like a real shit. So yeah. So yeah. Gaydacım. Yayınımı izlediğin için sana kral namını veriyorum. Ya. Kral namını veriyorum. Amına koyduğum oyun açılmadı.